Gold City, the truth about Danny Riley, A&D Bruce Taliaferro. 3 times Bruce Taliaferro has walked away from Gold City. And 3 times he's walked right back onto that same stage, standing next to his longtime friend and the man who runs the group, Danny Riley. To fans watching from the outside, that kind of revolving door can look like something's wrong. Online comment sections have speculated for years about tension, unspoken conflict, even whispered about a falling out between the two men. But the real story is almost the opposite of what the rumours suggest. This is the true history of Danny Riley and Bruce Taliaferro, 2 friends since their teenage years, who's on again. Off-again partnership tells you far more about loyalty than it does about conflict. Friends since they were teenagers long before either man was standing on a Gold City stage, Danny Riley and Bruce Taliaferro were simply 2 young men from Gadsden, Alabama, who grew up dreaming of singing together. Danny is the son of Hall of Fame bass singer Tim Riley, and by the early 2000s he'd taken over both performing and managing duties for Gold City, carrying forward the legacy his father had built. Bruce, a Gadsden native himself, had spent years filling in for the group whenever the lead or baritone position needed covering. Their first real chapter together as bandmates came in 2008, when lead singer Jonathan Wilburn departed and Bruce stepped into the role full-time. It was, by every account, the fulfillment of something the 2 friends had talked about since they were teenagers. That first stint lasted a couple of years before Bruce resigned at the end of 2010 to step away from the road entirely. The first return for nearly a decade, Bruce stayed off the touring circuit. Then, in January 2020, Danny Riley made an announcement that clearly meant something personal to him. Bruce Taliaferro would be returning to Gold City, stepping back into the lead role he'd last held in 2010. Danny didn't hide how much the reunion meant to him. He described Bruce as a friend since their teenage years, someone he'd always dreamed of singing alongside, and said that when the lead position came open, Bruce was the very first person he called. Bruce, for his part, admitted he genuinely thought his singing career was over back in 2010. Getting the call to return, he said, felt like an unexpected gift, one he was humbled and excited to receive. Where the rumours actually come from, so, if the friendship was genuine, why do the rumours persist? The honest answer lies in how Gold City has handled some of its personnel changes over the years, often with fairly limited public explanation. In January 2022, Bruce resigned from the group again, this time with the announcement simply stating his departure was effective immediately, without much detail offered at the time. It later emerged, when Bruce returned for a 3rd stint in October 2022, that he'd actually spent those 9 months working as an MT and first responder, a completely separate calling that had pulled him away from the road to deal with what Danny described only as personal things. There was nothing sinister in it. It was simply a chapter of Bruce's life that unfolded off the gospel stage. Around this same period, Gold City was also cycling through several other lineup changes, different tenors, a temporary lead singer, bass singers coming and going. Fans and industry bloggers watching the frequency of these changes understandably started asking questions, with some online commentary speculating about internal culture problems or even legal complications behind the scenes. But notably, none of that speculation ever pointed specifically at friction between Danny Riley and Bruce Taliaferro. If anything, every official statement from Danny about Bruce's returns has been warm, personal and grateful, hardly the language of someone managing an uncomfortable professional relationship. The final chapter. For now, Bruce's 3rd stint with Gold City came to an end in the summer of 2023 when he departed the lead position once more, making way for Josh Feemster to step into the role. There's no public indication that this final departure involved any conflict with Danny Riley either. Southern gospel careers, particularly ones built around 150 concert dates a year, are demanding in ways that go well beyond the stage, and 3 separate returns over more than a decade suggest a man who kept being pulled back to the music, not one pushed away by discord. What's remained constant through every single one of these transitions is Danny Riley himself, steering the group. Welcoming Bruce back each time with open arms and speaking about him publicly with nothing but warmth and gratitude. Strip away the online speculation, and what you're left with is a genuinely touching story. 2 boys from Gadsden, Alabama, who dreamed of singing together and who kept finding their way back to that shared microphone across more than 15 years through career changes, personal callings, and the simple demands of life on the road. That's not a story of conflict. It's a story of loyalty, the kind that doesn't need a dramatic headline to be worth telling.